What's up, everybody? It is me, KiNGAlpha. Hope everybody's doing great. So, guys, new update yesterday, so I figured why not make a update on the Nodachi guide. I've unlocked everything in terms of, all the runes and everything, and I figured why not make a nice updated Nodachi guide for the season. Now, keep in mind, Nodachi could get buffed again during the season as well. Hopefully, I think we need one more buff on Nodachi, and it would be really, really good. Um, but nevertheless, I want to give you guys this new Nodachi guide because this guide, when I tell you, I played this in TW, I played this in ranked, and I just felt like a massive tank. I felt almost sometimes unkillable. Obviously, all depending on the situation. So this is going to be the Nodachi guide for season 11, and hopefully you guys do enjoy it. Hopefully this does help you out. Now, in terms of actual gameplay and everything like that, I will probably be putting gameplay later on to the side. So, just keep, fair warning that I will probably just have that after this bit. So it's going to be, pretty obvious. So in terms of my attributes and everything, I'm gonna do this, then show off the score, then go off of the runes and the skills. So in terms of attributes, what I do is I put 52 points into agility and the rest into toughness. Now I know a lot of people are gonna be like, wait, what happened to the plus 12 in armor to try and get to 600 defense? Honestly, with the setup that I'm running right now, it feels like I don't actually need to have the extra armor anymore. And there's a good reason why, due to the runes and stuff. But basically, I do try and aim for at least 28,000 health, as much as possible. Typically, 27 to 28,000 is the sweet spot for Nodachi because you get that extra health that can allow you to survive a bit longer. And actually, have just a huge amount of health and be very tanky. In terms of slashing damage, I've said this before, you typically always try and aim for at least 2,000 slashing damage. It's really, really good. Really kind of important as well. Any more than this is, obviously nice, but it gets to a certain point that you're basically just going to be doing a little bit more damage compared to just, doing the regular like base damage or whatever. Um, and then in terms of the slashing armor penetration, you always try and aim for 1700. Right now in my games, the meta right now is just loads of heavy armors, poleaxe, maul, short sword. It's just the constant. And even for all the medium armor players and everything, with you at least having 17,000 slashing, 1,700 slashing armor penetration, you can just shred through their armor, and even the medium and light armor is really easy. I mean, I've critted a medium and light armor sometimes for like 13, 15k, depending on exactly, all the damage output that you can do. And it's just amazing, especially with all the buffs that Nodachi did get. Um, then coming over to the Nodachi, what you always want to aim for on your Nodachi. Now, I understand when crafting a Nodachi, it is going to be a bit harder due to the stupid, blunt armor penetration and blunt damage stats on it. Hopefully, they will eventually remove this so that you can make god tier Nodachis. Because I would seriously love to make a Nodachi. I've actually been saving my schematics to make a Nodachi whenever they do remove this. But you always aim for the slashing damage and slashing armor penetration. Any type of piercing damage and piercing armor penetration is very, very good as well. And if you do get plus strength or plus agility, that is really good too. But the main core things is obviously getting more slashing damage, getting more slashing armor penetration, and getting more either piercing damage or just some extra strength or agility. If you get any type of blunt or anything like that, it will suck, but it's, just try and craft another one. But if you get anything like above 250 in terms of all of these stats on the stuff that I said, then you do have a really good Nodachi. Whether it's a purple or not. Mine's a purple, and, maybe there could be a legendary that could be better, but still, sometimes even the purple's better than a legendary weapon. So, in terms of the runes, I know some people are going to be like, hold on, why are you not using every time you kill blah blah blah, you get a stack? Well, they buffed the Reforged Blade so that you actually get triple effect of the when your health falls below 50%, and then when your health falls below 25%. So this is really, really important in terms of your ult that I use, and I would really suggest for other people to use. Um, and in terms of my skill set, you guys are going to be like, oh, but I heard this one's better. And honestly, like I always say in all of my guides, go based off of what you like, what you are playing with your playstyle. Like if your playstyle is this and it's working for you, then keep doing that. But you know, this is how I'm playing Nodachi, and this is how I'm excelling in the high gameplay, you know, high ranks and high all the regular sieges and all that type of stuff. This is where basically I am, you know, comfortable with. And also the 60% of health gain from life drain is converted into damage and dealt against your enemy is absolutely beautiful. I love the huge crits and everything that I do get. Next, we have the helmet. So I know some people are going to be like, wait, what about the extra health? Or what about, you know, all this type of stuff? The extra critical defense is really, really good. Plus, you get an extra 5 points in toughness. So you get actually do get about 500 health. So critical defense is actually pretty huge versus like dual blades, spears, pikes, and all that type of stuff that actually, you know, go based off of crit value. So with having this critical defense, it actually does help you make become even extra tankier and on top of the other rune for your weapon. Plus you get agility and armor, so that's extra 2 points in armor, and the toughness, so it makes you tankier. Next is the chest piece. Damage taken from soldiers is reduced by 7%. This is really, really good. I know some people would be like, why not do this? Again, damage taken from soldiers is really, really good in terms of exactly using Dragon's Leap, for example, what I use. And then also the fact of just being extra tanky, like 24/7. It's all about Nodachi being tanky while still putting massive damage out at the same time, which is awesome. So I know some people will be like, why not reduce damage taken by 5%? I would rather have the reduced damage taken by soldiers so that I can actually, you know, stay alive versus all the units and then re-heal all up as much as I can. Also, increasing your armor by 5 points does help out as well. Next is the boots. So I do reduce damage taken from rear attacks and headshots by 15%. So rear attacks is really important because you always get hit from the sides and stuff. And this basically makes you even tankier again. Plus the headshots. So, you know, muskets. There's a lot of muskets right now. There's a lot of, you know, short bows and stuff. So this actually does help out in terms of that. I know some people like to do healing can perform while moving, yada, yada, yada. You know, you can feel free to do that, but honestly, it's fine. I really don't. It's up to you. But personally, I like to be tanky. And then the extra agility is very, very important. Next is the gloves. So I get increased damage dealt by 3%. And then after death, you know, nearby allies will deal 10% more damage for 10 seconds. This is pretty good in terms of, you know, AoE helping out your team, but also having your increased damage as well instead of the critical value or damage and all that type of stuff. Because critical value only goes really based off of when you do get a back hit and stuff. But, you know, not all the time you're going to be getting a back hit. Next is the +5 strength. So this helps out with the extra slashing damage. I know some people are going to wonder why I'm not doing full strength or anything like that. Honestly, like I said, because of the meta of all heavy armors, you basically want to go agility because of the extra slashing armor penetration. The only reason I would say you go you go some more strength than agility would be because of the fact of like if you're using monstrous blade, which relies a lot on just your auto attacks and everything. But in terms of the setup that I use for both TW and I use for ranked and even regular siege, this is one of the best setups I feel for me. Like I said, you guys can take out if you don't like Dragon's Leap, you want to use Monstrous Blade, do that. But you know, this is the setup that works for me. So if you guys don't know, Fearless Steadfast did sorry, excuse me. Fearless Steadfast did get a buff of 5% increased buff in terms of the dealing damage. So instead of dealing 86% of your base slashing damage, it actually does 91% of it. And then it also did get an extra 100 points on top of the slashing damage as well. So yeah, I know some people are gonna be like, wait, what happens to Tiger's Claw? With Fearless Steadfast getting buff and all of the poleaxes and everything being around and stuff, Fearless Steadfast is almost really important because of being able to get up. It's just constant knockdowns 24/7. So you do need Fearless Steadfast to actually help you recover a lot more than often. And it's on a little cooldown, 8 seconds compared to Tiger's Claw 15. So you do not you do lose out on getting a lot more health, but at the same time, I do feel like, the remove days, knockdown, and concussed really does help out compared to Tiger's Claw, where you can even get stopped really easily and stuff. If you do want to use Tiger's Claw, feel free though. I still love that skill. I just hope they either reduce the cooldown of it or, increase the damage or something like that, and maybe I'll go back to it. Um, Next is Bloodthirsty. Bloodthirsty actually did get a buff as well. So it got an inflicting 91% instead of inflicting 86% of your base pierce damage. And then it also did get a plus, I think it was like 170 points in terms of your actual damage and everything, which is really, really nice. I use Blood Oath because you always want to reset your Bloodthirsty and your Fearless Steadfast, which is really, really good. And you do get the extra increased damage by 20% for 9 seconds. And it also adds a 2 points of Bloodlust, which is really awesome. Last but not least, I use Dragon's Leap. Now, like I said, you can always take out Dragon's Leap and use Monstrous Blade. It's really up to you. But personally, I love Dragon's Leap in terms of the AoE damage that it does. Now, keep in mind, I will say this. Dragon's Leap is a skill that takes a long time to actually master. And I will say this as well. This is the key part here. Never use Dragon's Leap without your Bloodbath. You need Bloodbath when using this, so at least you get immune to crowd control effects. Because if you do this with 4 stacks or 3 stacks, you're not going to get any type of immune to crowd control effects, and it takes too long to charge up that you're basically going to get stopped like a glaive. So one thing I will say is always use this with a Bloodbath stack. If you don't, then you're just going to basically be assed out. One thing I will say as well is that you also get damage taken while charging is reduced by 50%. So this is pretty crucial because of the fact that you're even tankier while you're doing Dragon's Leap. So one thing I will say as well is, just try and time this skill. I would love this skill to actually get buffed in terms of how slow it is. It takes forever when charging it up. So maybe if they reduce it down to charge up energy for 1 second instead of 2 seconds, would be amazing. But I hope you guys did enjoy. I'm going to be talking over some gameplay, and we can talk a little bit about combos and everything like that and what you really want to do with Nodachi. I'll see you guys in a bit. Peace. Alright, what's up everybody? So now we are back with some gameplay. Now, I'm just going to basically go over some key tips here and everything in terms of what to really use, how you're using things, and the perfect time to actually use your units all together. So a lot of units that can go really well with Nodachi is, for example, you do have obviously Immortal Garrison like I'm using here. You also have Javelin units. When I tell you Javelin units are so good to use with Nodachi, it's just so amazing. Because the thing is, with the fact of Bloodthirsty, you can actually just always time certain things like the throws, the charges, all that type of stuff. It's just fantastic. You're gonna see here that I just genuinely just destroy in terms of whenever I combine my units and my hero skills. One thing I want to say here as well is always you make sure you use your ult whenever you have the actual bloodbath stacks. In the bottom left area, you will see the bloodbath stacks, and as long as I do have my ult open, I will use it because of the fact that you get the CC immune. You also, because of the fact that you have the bloodbath effect, you will actually get a larger amount of health drain, which is amazing. And look at certain plays like this, and certain plays like this would not be possible if I had the other rune where if I'm not taking damage reduction, right there I would have died a lot faster because I would have taken, a way higher damage. And there's just so many moments like this that really, really do count whenever you're using this rune for being so tanky in these massive situations. Now, in terms of why I'm using Fearless Steadfast instead of Tiger's Claw now, is because of the fact of, yes, Fearless Steadfast did get the nice buff, which is amazing. And this is why I love Dragon's Leap and even regular Siege. Is just the fact of the CC that it has and the massive AoE that it does is really, really good for regular Siege, but especially all the big blob fights that does happen and everything. So I do die here, but it's whatever. But in terms of like how you're using Nodachi, I mean, I really want to eventually do like an in-depth guide on, how exactly you work it out because there's just so many moments where, you know, there's just the right thing to do, and you're gonna see right, boom, I immediately just Dragon's Leap ult, just immediately obliterate a even maybe heavy armor to medium armor, but it just really depends. Um, and it's just awesome. Like I don't know how else to really explain it in terms of using the skills, the timing of the skills. One thing I would say is you really, especially with the current meta right now of a bunch of pole axes and mauls and short swords, you really do need to ensure that you do time your bloodthirsty and your fearless steadfast so that you can get out of all of these CCs that are going to occur. A lot of the times as well, whenever a maul Ukos dooms me, I kind of either wait for a second or just immediately bloodthirst. So sometimes what happens is that you bloodthirst and then they Ukos doom, right? And oh, just look at this gorgeous ult, boom, amazing. And that's actually on one of my friends as well. But a lot of the times they Ukos doom, and then you're basically stunned. A lot of the times that I do is that whenever you get like Ukos doomed by a maul or any type of real CC, you just roll out so that you can try and get out of it as best as possible. There's so many different situations that Nodachi can be very strong, even in a big 1v3 situation. And right there, if I actually had my ult, I wouldn't have been able to basically obliterate both of those heroes. And just overall, a lot of people don't realize how good Nodachi can be in a lot of these bigger situations. And everybody goes to straight meta classes, whereas, you can just basically play something that just requires skill and just timing, and it's just going to be absolutely amazing. I know I probably did not do the best, you know, me talking over the gameplay and actually describing how to play Nodachi here, but I am kind of a little bit of junk. And oh, not a little bit drunk, I'm just happy. And I just figured like why not just kind of just showcase a little bit of the gameplay. And you can see here I'm breaking things down that I do certain things in terms of trying to time skills, trying to time bloodthirsties, trying to time my Dragon's Leap, like right here, timing it, boom, immediately getting that nice little feed, getting all the heroes down on their ass, and it's just absolutely beautiful. One thing I will say about Fearless Steadfast as well, it is really good for killing a hero. In terms of like even securing the hero kills and stuff, it's so awesome. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I will probably do a better in-depth guide on gameplay, and even do maybe whenever I have a Nodachi guide by itself or gameplay video. Peace out, have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!